Can y'all please put out shorter albums? What's up, YouTube? My name is Jason, and this is my take. I hope you guys had a good weekend. I hope Kanye didn't. But I'm back, and we got to kick this week off with the new Lil Baby album, It's Only Me. Lil Baby, man, one of the biggest rappers in the game, Atlanta artist, a guy who I've grown to, really be a fan of. And this is actually one of my most highly anticipated albums this year. This man's been on fire for the last 3-4 years. His sophomore album, which was like his big album, was 2020's My Turn. I wasn't high on this when I first listened to it. It wasn't really resonating with me personally, but after like 2-3 weeks, I came back to it and something just changed. Like, it really clicked for me. Like, I really found myself enjoying this. Like, it's not the greatest thing I've ever heard, but I definitely still to this day go back to it quite a bit. Very trap production, Lil Baby and his versatility, more crooning, but more rapping as well. Great features. I thought top to bottom, this was a pretty solid record. Then you follow that up with his collab with Dirt, Voice of the Heroes, another solid project. Two guys who have been on fire lately. Within all this, post all this, Lil Baby has been featured on so many songs, like with Drake, for example, where he just always, shines and stands out. And it really caught my attention and really made me a fan of his. So you can only imagine how excited I was going into this new album over here, It's Only Me. I saw the album cover and a part of me was like, wow, like it really did. He's very high on himself with the GOATs and with the Mount Rushmore of just all of his different stages of life, his faces. It also still, in a way reminded me of the My Turn album cover with the GOATs on it and, that type of feel. But I was very excited. I was very excited to get into this thing. And after giving it, as many listens as I felt comfortable with for this video, now let me start here. All right, this is not a bad album, but if you had high expectations for this, like I did, then like it's hard to believe that your expectations were met as well. Like mine weren't. 23 songs on here that just many of them were not needed. How there was very production on My Turn. It just felt very samey for a lot of records on here. I saw that there were over 40 producers on here, and as I am listening to this album more and more, I'm like, how are there that many people producing on these records when, like, there's not a lot of distinction here? And there's not a lot of distinction in, Lil Baby's content here. For the most part, it's just about, how great he is, where he's come from, how he's gotten to this point. But like, over 23 records. But I don't want that to get lost in the some of the good moments here. We got a lot to get into here, but if you think that I'm talking about all 23 of these songs, don't ever disrespect me like that. On the positive side though, let's kick this thing off with the intro real spill. We start off with our hard hitting beat and Baby setting the tone early. I really love the hi-hat movement here on the production as well. Honestly, everything just hits hard. This is what you want in the intro, but I will say, I wish the melody, like the sample, had a little bit more of a presence with the drums. Like I feel like it would have, brought things up a little bit more. I love Baby's energy and flow from the jump on the track Stand On It. Ty came in with that, here we go again, big body bends. Like I already knew we were really about to get into it. And I think this song right here is a big example of like the type of singing, like crooning, that I really enjoy from Lil Baby, because we all know that there's auto-tune involved here, but when it's like minimal, like we know it's there, but it's not overwhelming. Like I really feel like that's when Baby shines the most on these type of tracks. Next, we got the track Pop Out featuring Nardo Wick. And listen, Lil Baby went in on this one, in my opinion. There was a switch up with the beat, and on either one, Baby's flows were doing it for me. That they were hitting like they need to. Speaking of that switch up, that first off, it was very unexpected, and then we get Nardo Wick coming on here on some like a very like weird, creepy, like he just sounded so creepy. on this, and I really wanted to like his contribution here, but it didn't completely ruin the song for me. Like, I can't lie. I saw that it did ruin the song for a lot of people, but like I think Baby saved the song enough for Nardo to not, you know, take it down. I found the track In a Minute to be interesting, another highlight for me. Now, of course, this didn't top Drake's Pound Cake from Nothing Was the Same, and I say that because he also uses the Ellie Goulding sample here that Drake used on the legendary Pound Cake that featured Jay-Z. While that's the case, while I think more about Drake's, you know, take on this sample more than this song right here, I still think it hit very hard. I don't know, just throw some hard hitting trap drums over, you know, a sample like this, and you're in a good spot for the most part. Cost to Be Alive featuring Rylo Rodriguez, like, I just want to talk about the beat, and that's really the big thing for me. I am a sucker for a very catchy vocal sample, and that vocal chop of the person just saying it costs to be alive is still stuck in my head. I love this beat. Personally, Baby and Rylo really didn't do much to keep me just like vocally with what they were doing, but the beat was hard enough for me to kind of drown that out. I don't really think they did much. Now, Top Priority is an example of like a song that we hear quite a bit on this album, but I wanted to highlight this song because I feel like of the many songs on here where Baby is just bigging himself up, like really bragging, like talking that talk, I feel like this one was one of the best ones. It just makes you really, you know, grasp like how big this guy is. Like, you hear him saying these things about himself, really bragging, and you're like, yeah, like yeah, it's true. My whole thing is like, I wish if Baby was gonna keep doing this with this content like that, they could have hit harder like this one. It just felt like too many songs doing the same thing. Of course, I gotta mention the song Back and Forth featuring EST Gee. Now, like, this is on the, you know, tail end of the album here, and I knew for a fact that if this song like didn't hit, like I was considering just stopping the album at the moment, because like you can't mess this up like with EST Gee and just how on fire he's been. I've really enjoyed his music, and I'm just glad, like I said, I'm just glad it didn't disappoint. I'm glad it was good to see these two on the track together, and they both came through. Then there's the outro, Russian Roulette. Now, while I honestly was ready for the album to be over way before this point, this was a good way to go out. Very much enjoyed the guitar melody here, along with that very active and hard-hitting 808. And content-wise, it's like what was going on like half of the album, but like I still enjoyed it just for what it was, and I'm glad I didn't get a snooze fest for an outro. All right, now listen, like tracks, there are many tracks on here. I'm not getting into the bad tracks yet. I'm just wanting to get into the very middle of the pack tracks on here, and there's quite a bit. I'm not getting into them, but it's just like, this is my issue with the long albums that a lot of artists put out, even artists as big as Lil Baby. It's just like, you have so many songs on here that just don't need to be here. Think about songs like Everything, California Breeze, Perfect Timing, Not Finished, No Fly Zone. It's just like, I don't need them. I really don't. And it reminds me of Donda, for example. It's just like, you know how great that album would have been if it was like 14, 15 songs, like max. Like I'm good with like 10 to 12 personally, but I think Baby just like, you know, kind of got into that trap of just like, you know, putting out so many songs and wanting to give people so much that there's just no variation in it, and you have a lot of filler that just we can do without. So it was just like, and it was just so many of those on this album, and it was just like we didn't need these. It just felt like extra songs in the sessions that we didn't need. All right, let's get to some of these. Like, I hope this doesn't take too long, because like some of the songs that I'm about to mention on here, I'm really like sad that I even have to bring them up in terms of how bad they are. But let's start with the track Heyy. This song was the lead-off single for the album, and just a heads up here, I personally don't really like listening to singles like that when I know an artist is about to drop and I know it's coming, because I want to take the album in as a whole and feel it. Depending on the artist, how big they are, how excited I am, I'll listen to it, because it's gonna be hard to not listen to that single. But I didn't listen to any singles going into this album, and when I heard this song, I was very glad that I didn't. I honestly would have rather just heard it on this album and not beforehand, because this is easily one of Lil Baby's worst songs. You actually really can't understand a good amount of what this guy is saying on here. It's so slurred, so like processed, like what I don't know what he's saying most of the time. Like the beat, the epitome of generic and mediocre, like, and that hook. I can't believe that the song Never Hating featuring Young Thug is on this side of the video. How is this one of the worst songs on the album? Off the names alone, this should be at least a good song. But no, I think that both Lil Baby and Young Thug's performances really have me scratching my head, because these are two of the biggest and best in mainstream hip hop, and they come out with this. Is moving along. I can't believe that the song From Now On featuring Future is on this side of the video. Off the names alone, this should be at least a good song. Like, Future's album that he dropped this year is one of his best personally that I've heard. And like, his performance on here was just like, I'm so confused. It was really their flow. Like, their flows on here is just like really just mind blowing how bad it was. Hey, let's move forward, man. No, I can't even. I don't know about y'all, but I've heard the song Danger. I've heard that like 100 times by so many different artists. That beat, like that beat is like, it annoys me now, because it just, how many times is this beat gonna be used? It does nothing for me at this point. It really doesn't. Like, what does this song do to propel the album to, like, what does this do for the album? Along with Heyy, I think the song For Real is also like one of the worst songs Lil Baby's ever dropped. Like, this guy was like fatigued. Like, we're you know, far into the album at this point. I feel like even he was tired, like, at this point. He got like weird lines like, she act out, I write her up, put her in suspension. Then you got Shiest talk with Pooh Shiesty, and it's just like you can't, if you're gonna put the bad songs on here, like, put them at the beginning, bro. Like, at this point, man, this type of song should not be one of the closers. Like, I'm just trying to think of the last time I've also heard like an amazing Pooh Shiesty feature, and like, I got nothing. I'm gonna just cut it there, because honestly, like, if you just skip to this whole section of the video, you would think I hate this album, and I really don't. I just am extremely disappointed, given this was an album I was very much like waiting for, looking forward to, and kind of having a feeling that I knew what I was gonna get, but expectations just weren't met. I mean, I mentioned Dirk and Lil Baby way earlier in the video, because, man, I really thought we were gonna be 2 for 2 with solo releases. I think Dirk put out an amazing record earlier this year. You know, why wouldn't I think that Lil Baby would come through and follow up with a great one on his own? But, you know, nah, it didn't happen. But, you know, I really just hope that moving forward, Lil Baby can kind of, you know, look back on this album and kind of like hear what I was hearing here, and what a lot of people have been hearing. Honestly, I'm not the only person that holds these sentiments, because if I feel like if we value quantity over quality, it's just killing albums and their meanings in hip hop. Like, those 10 to 12 like records, like, when you think about Illmatic, like, you know what I mean, like, those records are great because they come in and they hit for what they need to do. Like, they're short, sweet, and they get everything done that they need to. Like, Lil Baby, all of what Lil Baby was talking about could have been done on like a good 11, 12 songs. Like, there wasn't a variation of content or production on here. So how can you have an album this long? Like, it's just not gonna drive home what you're trying to do. And I want shorter albums from all these artists that I enjoy. Just drop shorter albums. Like, we'll love you more for it. Like, I promise. But you know, I hope we do better moving forward in terms of Lil Baby. Please do not drop a deluxe. Please don't. But I'm gonna give this album a 5 out of 10. What were you guys' thoughts on this Lil Baby album? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What were your favorite tracks? Let's have a discussion down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Got another video coming for you guys tomorrow. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm Jason. This has been my take. And I'll see you next time.